Hi, my name is Darlene Cepeda Field, and I'm going to be talking to you about social emotional learning. So, what is social emotional learning? I believe it's the process of applying knowledge, attitudes, and skills for students or any adult to understand and manage their emotions. This helps them. This helps them with goals, to accomplish goals. It helps them to understand empathy towards others. Social emotional learning also helps the students have positive relationships, which is very beneficial, especially when we want to make sure students are college and workforce ready by graduation. And another thing that social emotional learning does help, it helps make responsible decision making instead of not thinking through and just getting angry or upset because the decisions aren't the way you want them to be. So this way it helps them. It helps them control their mind and everything. But one thing that Collaborative for Academia, Social and Emotional Learning, which is called CASEL, they also recommend that social emotional learning also helps the student with their self-awareness, their self-management, social awareness, their relationship skills, which I spoke of, and responsible decision making, which is another thing I spoke of. So, why is it important to address social emotional learning in schools? Well, one thing is, this is what we ask ourselves as teachers. What do we want our students to become, or what do we want them to be able to do by the time they graduate? And academia is not enough, because research shows that social emotional programs, they have an important impact on the students' mental health and well-being, which also helps improve their relationships, their academics, their motivation to learn. And it also reduces antisocial behavior, anger management, and negative behavior. And this was all cited by Dr. Roger Westberg from the Committee for Children's Foundation. Because we want to address SEL in schools, we also want to be able to address it in the library. And Kathleen Houlihan, she wrote about SEL in the libraries. And one thing she stated was that teens must act as advocates for the value of library programs. Because one reason is that it's going to empower the students to talk about their thoughts or talk about the skills that they have already learned in school. And here are some examples of how a library can help with social emotional learning by providing programs. And these are some of the programs that they can provide. They can have a literature program, which could be a book talk. It could be a book read. It could be a discussion about the topic of the book, what it focuses on. There's also a poetry program, which can incorporate like a poetry slam where children are going to write about, we can give them a prompt and they can write about that. Or we can have a literacy program, which we can have our high schoolers do a reading program with the elementary school students. So these are all little programs that we can have within the library. Oh, another program that would be beneficial for, at least for high schoolers in a library, would be a life skills program, because there are a lot of students that are graduating that do not have life skills right now. They do not know how to balance a checkbook. They do not know how to pay a bill. Some of them don't even know how to count change. So these are life skills that we should be able to teach them. And the library is a perfect place for that. So these are the importance of why I think that SEL should be in schools and in the library. So now I'm going to talk about citing. Okay. I'm going to talk about how we can improve academia, their social emotional levels, and their behavior outcomes. We are able to help the students with their academia by providing SEL programs through teachers, through administrators, because administrators also need to be involved in this. It's not just the teachers. Administrators and the librarian. These are all important people that can help use SEL to help benefit their students in their school. Another thing is that what we want to be able to focus on is their social emotional levels. And this way, we are able to help them with their teachers, with parents, and with students. With teachers, you want to have that connection with your student. You want to build that relationship. With parents, we need to be able to have a relationship with our parents as teachers, as faculty, because if we have that relationship with them, then they are able to have that relationship with their students concerning school. So it's kind of like a process. If we bring a relationship, again, with the parent and let them know what is beneficial for their student in social emotional learning, then that parent can use that at home to help with their child and their student. And then another way to help social emotional learning would be students with their peers. We can have peer counseling. We can have peer groups. It does not necessarily have to be a teacher, an administrator. There does need to be someone to overlook them. But for a student to talk to another student in the privacy of just conversing and letting their emotions out, we can do that because we can do peer counseling, at least in the high school level. So this is a way we can help with their academics and with their social emotional learning. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is their behavioral outcome. The behavioral outcome is very difficult. So a good way to be able to share or help students with their behavior is to be able to let them know that failure is a part of life and that this is something that even we ourselves as teachers, as faculty, as administrators, as librarians, as parents, we fail sometimes. We make mistakes. And what happens when we make a mistake? We fix it. That's what we want to be able to teach our children. We want to be able to teach them that within failure comes critical thinking, problem solving, perseverance, first of all. You need that. And then it also helps with time management. And if you are able to share your failures with your students, let them know that you're human, that we can make mistakes and we learn from them. I think it also helps out to make them more empathetic towards one another, to bring some resilience to them as well, knowing that they're not alone and that they too can also fix their problem if somebody else was able to. If they can do it, then I can do it. We want to give them that mentality. And at the same time, it alleviates their stress, which makes them less angry, less hostile. And that's what we want. We want students that are going to be empathetic. We want them to be perseverant. We want them to persevere. We want them to be able to help one another. Because when it comes time to when they graduate, when they go out into the world, we're not going to be with them. They're going to be on their own. And we need to make sure that we gave them the right tools to do this. So I was able to find a lot of information off of our textbook that we have, the Handbook of Social Emotional Learning, which was edited by Joseph Durlak and Celine Domitrovich, Roger Weisberg, and Thomas Gulotta. And I believe I did cite Dr. Weisberg once. I also want to acknowledge, here's another person I would like to acknowledge, is Kathleen Houlihan. She was working with the young adults of library services, and she wrote an article, 5 Ways to Incorporate SEL at Your Library, supporting multidimensional learning. And there's one more that I would like to cite, and that is from, let's see, I have it written down. It is called This School Library is All About SEL, and it was a publication from the School Library Journal. So I hope you enjoyed my video and presentation. It also includes a PowerPoint, which I could not attach to it. So I will put it in so you can see it. I will put it in so you can also view it along, okay? But anyway, have a great day, and I hope you enjoy your SEL learning as I am. Bye.